Welcome to the greatest podcast in the Western Hemisphere. In this corner, hailing from St. Louis, Missouri, the undisputed but never diluted, gut-busting circus of mayhem, Blue World Order! I'm blue.
Welcome to episode 2 of the Blue World Order podcast. I'm Josh Hyman.
I'm Joey Pazzola.
And I'm Thomas Welch.
And today we're joined by Cam Janssen. Cam, how's it going?
What up, guys? What's going on?
Going good. Got some questions for us? Coming off the Cup win.
Yep.
But also, just off the top, Cam, we just want to thank you for taking time out of your day to come on the show and talk a little bit of hockey with us. Really appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem, guys. No problem. Just send the check in the mail. We're all good.
Yeah, you can get the 3-cent commission check when it gets divided equally. No, but I guess right off the bat, just one of the more recent Blues news. The Blues just hired Marc Savard as a assistant coach to hopefully help with the power play. And I know you, from your playing days, probably played against him, know him a little bit better than the general public does. So what are your thoughts on that move, Ken?
Well, he's a veteran guy, and he's friends with Berube. They played together in maybe his name was Calgary, so they know each other. And Mark's been working with TSN, and he was on the Hockey Network, and he's got he's got a lot of hockey knowledge. I believe he won in 2011 with the Bruins, but he was a power play guy, and he scored a lot of power play points, and that's exactly what the Blues need to fix. The biggest problem with the team last year was consistency on the power play. Why is that? Well, I think it's not that I'm a power play specialist, but I had a great seat throughout a lot of power plays in my career. Don't get me wrong. But we don't have enough threats, meaning, watch Tampa Bay and watch even in Washington Capitals, how they zip it around. They got TJ Oshie in the slot. They got Kuznetsov and Backstrom wheeling the walls, and they got a threat not only with John Carlson on the point for a one-timer, but of course you got the big dog, Alexander Ovechkin, waiting in the weeds. He could adjust his body to anything. So you just have options, and we don't. It worked a little bit with Patty Maroon down low. They figured it out. Boys would get their paddle down. It was tough to just sneak those goals in. It caused a little bit of chaos. But as far as consistency is concerned, we need to be better on the power play. And that is a simple fact. And if we fix that just by, a little bit, then it just helps us glide through the season that much better and makes you more of a threat as a whole, as a team.
I absolutely agree. And I think you really hit it on the head. But I feel like this team has the personnel. It just I feel like at times last year, our players were kind of more lined up towards possession. They would take the puck and kind of pass it around, but not really in they wouldn't really be receiving the puck in dangerous positions really. And I think like you were talking about with Tampa Bay, guys like Stamkos and Kucherov are always in position for one-timers or at least dangerous opportunities. And I think Marc Savard is really going to help us bring that kind of aspect more out of our unit.
Well, I think also if I'm Vladimir Tarasenko and I'm Rob Thomas, I'm working on my one-timer. Rob Thomas is a whole, and I know his wrist was banged up. He needs to work on the shot. I mean, how many chances did he have throughout the season? Kind of point-blank shots where he just couldn't get enough on it and pick that corner.
Right.
He does everything else great. I mean, his puck possession is phenomenal. His vision's great. He's a great guy, great kid, awesome kid, by the way. But he's got to work on a shot. I mean, if he had an NHL shot, he might score 20 goals and get 50 assists and be able to be a first-line center eventually, and that's what we're hoping for. But Vladdy's the same way. Open up and take a one-timer. He dusts it off and he picks his corners, and that's fine. But gosh, he's getting so many sticks, so many different sticks in the lane when he's trying to shoot, because just that extra half a second when you dust the puck, you got to gather and get your head up and shoot instead of just opening up for a one-timer. Why he's not confident with his one-timer is beyond me, but he needs to be.
Yeah, I mean, when you talk about Ovechkin and you think about his office and his signature shot, that's that one timer that, you know, the puck gets passed over and then you blink and it's in the back of the net, and obviously, you know, that's a gift and that's just not something you can learn. But if Vladdy, I mean, if he unlocks something like that, if he even like a percentage of what Ovi can do, I think we see so many more goals from him, because a lot of the top goal scorers in the league, you see a lot of their goals come on the power play, and Vladdy is the exact opposite. He does not score on the power play a lot, and I think if he were to be able to unlock that one timer and give himself just like a constant threat from that spot, it will really increase his goal totals from the really high amount that they already are. You know, 5 years in a row with 30 plus, but it can go up even from there.
Another thing is, people play you differently whenever they don't want you to be on the power play. Like, they're hesitant to take penalties, therefore they're not as physical, and they're overthinking things because they don't want to put you on the power play. But if your power play is 20% or whatever it is, and it's low, people just they play you differently. They don't care. They'll take a penalty. We'll kill it off. So there's a deeper meaning to it, without just getting your PP cookies there. But you gotta have a great power play for so many reasons. I mean, how many times were we just watching the TV and they just couldn't get going on the power play, and we're like, we need a goal. They just gave us a weak call. We need to take advantage of this, and we just didn't. And it just needs to be fixed. And that's the main reason why they hired Savard. He won't be on the bench. He'll be up top. He'll look down. He'll go down after every single period and talk with the guys and talk with the coaches and be able to see from an eye in the sky. But he's a veteran guy, point per game kind of guy, and a very, very savvy power play specialist.
Yeah, it's really just about like. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Joey.
No, you're good. I was gonna ask. Do you think we'll see more of Tarasenko on that off wing like normal, on that right side, on that dot, ready for some one timers this year on the power play, or you think they're gonna try to roll with the same thing they're doing, or what do you think is gonna happen? What do you think is gonna change?
Well, they're going to try a bunch of different things. I don't think they know yet. Of course, you have the same personnel, but they're going to try to get Vladdy the puck as much as possible. I also think that they need to utilize our defensemen too. I mean, you got Petro has a great one-timer. You got Colin Parayko that needs to get that one-timer off more in his shot. We need to utilize him a little bit. What about Vinny Dunn getting pucks through? It doesn't need to be sexy. It just needs to work. And then when it doesn't work, you need to fix it and find something else that works quick. And we just didn't do that. So it slows you down as a team.
Yeah,
for sure.
And kind of transitioning from that, one guy you mentioned with a power play, Pat Maroon. Obviously, every Blues fan is kind of, waiting patiently for that news, and especially you being in a very similar situation, from St. Louis, didn't start out there, but then joined the team and ended up eventually, again, transitioning to a different team. What do you, at least from your perspective, what are his emotions sort of like right now in this kind of difficult spot in this offseason?
Probably like a roller coaster, I would say.
Yeah.
You have the highest of highs throughout the season and winning, and then just having our Stanley Cup with his Stanley Cup party. I consider it ours because he invited me, so that's why I said that. But we had the best time ever. Everybody wants a piece of you. Everybody, interview after interview, stuff. And but you don't have a job,
right?
So it's so weird how you're just on cloud nine, and all of a sudden you're not getting any bites. Your agent's not calling you back, and you're like, oh boy, what's going on? You try not to think about it, but that's always on your mind. And then you're trying to work out, but you don't have a contract left, and it's just like, what am I doing? So he's in a weird spot right now. I think he will be okay. The game changes every single year. He's probably not getting any faster, let's say. So I think that's where the biggest struggle is, where teams will be like, do we take a chance on him and maybe surround him with players that we could utilize his skill set, just like they did in St. Louis with the Bozak and Robbie Thomas line. So he's in a weird spot right now. He'll be okay. Will he be with the Blues next year? I don't see it happening. And that's fine. It's like Patty. You come down here, you win a cup, right off into the sunset. You're only going to go down from here. Like the next year, you might be sitting games out and things like that. It could get frustrating. Everybody loves you here. You made your mark. You're a hometown hero.
He's a hero.
So what? Come back and you'll probably get a job doing something somewhere after hockey just because of what you've done.
I mean,
I'm not sure. I feel like I speak for all of St. Louis when I say that. Like, I don't think there's a lot that Pat Maroon could do, including signing with another team that would leave a bad taste in fans' mouths.
Oh, definitely not.
Well,
it's really just like a legendary story. Exactly. Yeah,
but
exactly.
if you played next year and all of a sudden you're not playing, you're in and out of the lineup because we're so deep. Young kids are taking your spot, and all of a sudden it puts you in a bad spot, and you're the odd man out. So things can go in a different direction if he plays here this year and maybe leave on a sour note, although he did win. But yeah, he's going to be all right. And look, again, right off into the sunset. You did what you did. No, you'll always be remembered in this town.
Right, yeah. And like I've said it before, that's the sort of thing, him growing up in St. Louis. I know I've done it, out in his driveway playing street hockey, when he's a little kid or whatever growing up, commentating over it. Oh, and Pat Maroon shoots and he scores and the Blues won the cup, and he actually got to live that. And there's really not a whole lot of people that can say that. And not only did he get to live that, he scores a double overtime goal in Game 7 against Dallas. When you say riding off into the sunset, it really can't get much more of a storybook ending for him in St. Louis. So I think it would be tough for him to let it go, but he couldn't have asked if he has one season with his hometown team. I really don't think he could have asked for a better one.
Oh, I know. Well, trust me, it was rocky though, dude. Like I remember calling him, talking to him at like 11 at night, like, damn, man, he's like, what am I doing? I can't get going. I can't. I'm like, you're all right. It was tough, man. He was taking a beating from the fans too. People were ripping him pretty good. I mean, gosh almighty, like I have to read everything, like I got a radio show every single day. So I got to be on the ball with what's going on. And God, Blues fans are relentless sometimes on people. And they were really at times too, and I wasn't on social media then. When I played here, thank God. Thank God
we were just talking about that before you hopped on, actually.
Yeah. Yeah, but that goes two ways. Let me explain. That goes two ways. I look back on it, and if I was disciplined enough at the time mentally, I'd have 200,000 followers now because I'd be funny and creative and da-da-da-da.
Yeah.
And but would that help me right now with my career? Maybe. You have 200,000 followers. You could say one thing and it's getting out to a lot of people. Like in that sense, it works. But I have a feeling if I would have had social media, and I did, but I got off of it because of Lou Lamoriello with the Devils. I just probably would have said something stupid, put yourself in a jam, piss people off, whatever. So it goes both ways. But I'm on it now, and I tell you what, when I get on Twitter, I have to look before I tweet for about 20 freaking minutes. And like, does that make sense? Is that how you spell that? Do I sound weird? Oh my God. Are you like that too? It's god awful.
Yeah, I've sent like screenshots of my tweets, like my draft to my friends and be like, does this sound right? Does this make sense? Like, are people gonna make fun of me for this?
You gotta read over 20,000 times.
Right. And even then I've gotten like replies of the silliest things that I quote unquote did wrong. Like they don't like the way I formatted a tweet, and it's like you can't win. You really cannot win with.
Well, you know what you do? This is what I do. I just make fun of myself. So I don't get chirped much on Twitter, to be honest with you, but once in a while I will. And you just make, if somebody's like, you were the worst, I'm like, yeah, you're right, I was. Get my stuff, or whatever, and then it's like the Eminem approach. He rips himself the whole time. At the end there, when they're going toe to toe, he rips himself, and all of a sudden the guy's like, I got nothing else. You just talk crap about yourself the whole damn time, and now you win because they got no more ammunition for you.
Yeah,
I kind of use that approach sometimes. I also use like if someone starts like dogging me, or like even guys with like 6 followers, and it's just like his family that follows him is just like dogging your tweets and like telling you your ass and stuff. I'm just like, dude, I like your haircut. Like, it's looking good. He's like, thanks, man. I'm like, that's it.
Or like, they'll have most of the guys will have like the goofiest avatar, and so you're like, you're sitting there with like your two cats and you're eating a popsicle. Like, what the? Like, who are you kidding? Not that there's anything wrong with cats. I got kitty cats myself and I love them.
Yeah.
But like, don't chirp me when your avatar is looking like that, dude.
Yeah, I don't even know what you look like, or it's like just like a picture or like a blank.
Man.
Great. Yeah.
Oh man. Okay. Anyways, Thomas, I know you had a couple good questions for Cam more personally.
Yes.
You wanna dive into some of those?
Yeah. So just kind of, I guess since we're talking about like the hometown boy, Pat Maroon and stuff, just kind of going off of that. Cam, you went to Eureka High School, right? Home of the Wildcats.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What was life like going there, and what was the most trouble you ever got in at Eureka High School and growing up in general?
I mean, I was wild. My parents were lenient. If I messed up, they'd be on me hard, like, give me that look. Dad never, like, beat me or anything. Like, I know what, I didn't come. But if he gave me that look, like, where do you think I got my toughness from? I didn't come out of the sky.
Yeah.
So, that's why I asked, yeah.
But my mom and dad are very, very tough, but the coolest people. Everybody wants to be around them. We'd had the parties. My mom and dad would just let me have people over, do whatever we wanted, really. Just don't be stupid. So I had a very cool, awesome childhood. And, but yeah, we were wild. I mean, I had to control this craziness I have, and do it the right way. And hockey did that for me. So even going to Eureka High School, I played football, I wrestled, I ran track, cross country, I did it all. But I was playing hockey, and I was doing those sports to get in shape for hockey. Mm-hmm. And hockey was nothing around here at the time. Nothing. I mean, no one even knew. I mean, they knew the Blues, but they didn't know hockey. They didn't, and especially Eureka High School, it was all about football. So I played football, and I had to quit because I had to go to practice all the damn time, and you cannot do both. I was playing AAA hockey, and then I made the junior North American Hockey League St. Louis Sting, which was great at the time because I got to play my hometown, juniors for a year in my hometown. So I was only going to 3 classes a day because it was excused because it was junior hockey. And the teachers, they just didn't get it. They're like, what are you doing? Wait, I don't get it. You're not playing football? That means you're lazy. That means you can't handle it. But really, I was playing hockey, but they didn't understand that, rightfully so, because no one's ever really done that. Mm-hmm. So it's funny. I quit football. Big deal from the coaches. Like, they were pissed, and as they should be. But you know what I did? I went to the cross-country coach, and I said, hey, can I run cross-country with you guys? Which is the most miserable freaking thing in the world.
Oh, my God.
And then I did that, and I'd probably become like the top, dead last in every single event. But so what? I got through it. I was probably the biggest guy going.
And I'm sure that conditioning was nice, too.
Oh, it was great.
Jesus
when you're
Christ.
beating all your stuff at the end of it. But then the coach was like, why would he torture himself and run cross-country instead of playing football? So they started to understand it. Then I moved to Canada because I got drafted by Windsor Spitfires in the OHL. And then, I'd come back for my friends, bring them all these. No one understood even that. Like, wait, where are you at? I'm like, I'm in Canada. Or is there igloos up there? I'm like, no. Like, what do you? I go, I got drafted in the Ontario Hockey League. They're like, is that the NHL? I'm like, no, you idiots. Okay, I'll show you. So all my buddies would drive up there and watch me play, and just was like, you're playing juniors in Canada, dude. I signed when I was 18 years old for a couple $100,000, so I had money up there. It was really wild, fighting everybody, thinking I'm the coolest guy in town. Yeah. It was just a blast. It was a blast, man.
So, I mean, I guess kind of going off of that, with a lot of like the guys that have made a role for themselves in the NHL with more of like the tougher role, more of like the fighting role, you kind of a lot of times see them kind of transition to that in juniors. They'll be putting up points, but then as they get into like the AHL, the penalty minutes will start to rack up. I'm looking at your hockey DB, and you had 268 penalty minutes your first year of junior. So it kind of seems like you knew your role pretty early on. What was that like? Just kind of being that penalty minute enforcer guy from day one, rather than just transitioning to skill. Did you just like all of a sudden decide like, if I'm gonna make it, it's gonna be by beating the shit out of people?
Not at all. Not at all. I wanted to beat people up. No one told me to do that, dude. I was a killer in AAA. I'd kill guys in AAA and score, like, I'd score 3 goals against CompuWare, get our ass kicked 10-3, but I'd put 2 guys in the hospital, which is not good. Don't. It's not. But I would. I just blow these kids up like, oh my God, I was bigger and stronger and I could skate. And that's how I got noticed going up to Canada and playing in AAA in these tournaments because, they're not watching the amateur Blues. Now they are, but not then. But they're watching the Toronto Marley team are playing, and they're watching Rick Nash and guys on the Marlies. But they're like, who's this kid wearing number 16 that's crushing guys and he scored twice? And you're like, what? So no one's ever told me to fight. No one ever told me what role I needed to have. That's just my personality and who I am, and that's how I play. I like to hit, man. I wanted to fight because I'm wild. I'm crazy. I liked it.
Yeah.
I like the tension. I like taking my shirt off in the penalty box and like flexing some girls. Like, I like that. This is what I did. What do you want me to do? So again, nobody sat me down and said, Cam, you're 6'8". Now you need to fight because you're big. No. I'm 5'11", and I did it because I was crazy, and that was my personality. And I found out how to keep up with the pace and be able to hit consistently. And I tell you this: if I wasn't a good hitter, I wouldn't have made it to the NHL.
Yeah, I mean,
Cam, following that, do you think we'll see more of, obviously the Blues just won the Cup with a physical team. Do you think we'll see more of like the dynamic going back to the big bad boys like the LA Kings of the days, and then Boston Bruins obviously had some teams like that. You think we'll see more of that coming into play, or you think it's still going to be speed?
Here's the difference. The Blues freaked everybody out. You know why? Because everybody hit. It wasn't just 2 big bad guys. No. Everybody hit. Was Barbashev a big tough dude? No. He was crushing guys. Sandy Blais, where the hell did he come from? Killer and Juniors? No. You know why they hit consistently? Even Sundqvist, all those guys? It's because of Craig Berube.
Yeah.
Because of Craig Berube. So people are going to try to mimic the Blues style with hits and physicality and structure and discipline. We didn't do stupid shit. Guys weren't dumb. We didn't have any big heavyweights. Everybody hit, though. And that's because of Craig Berube. Craig Berube taught these guys how they needed to play without running around, without being dumb, without taking dumb penalties all the time and, getting out of position. They figured it out, and you have to give the credit to Craig Berube on that. He got everybody on the same page. And you got guys that never hit in their life, trucking guys and causing chaos.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like that was one of the biggest things is over the years, one of the biggest difficulties with the Blues is that they've never like played as a unit. It kind of has seemed like there's just 5 guys out there, not necessarily doing their own thing, but it didn't look like you had 5 guys out there a lot of times during the playoffs. It looked like you had just a unit, and they all had the same game plan, and big part of that game plan was obviously hitting. And like you said, Cam, it's not like you could be like, oh, okay, so-and-so's on the ice, I'm safe. No matter who is out there, everyone's head's on a swivel because from the bigger guys like Edmondson, Parayko, to the guys like Barbashev and Shen, no matter who it is, they will be coming at you full steam. And I think teams scared the shit out of teams. They weren't expecting it, and it worked.
Dude, look at San Jose. We set them back, man. We kicked the crap out of that team. Hurt guys. There was, I remember doing the Channel 5 afterwards, a post game with Frank in St. Louis, and I think it was game 5, maybe game whatever game it was. We were just crushing them, and in the third period came around, 4 of their top players were still in the dressing room because they're all banged up. Mm-hmm. It was like,
Game 5. Game 5. Yeah.
Was that game 5?
I remember exactly what you're talking about after that game. I watched all that. Yeah. That was game 5.
And it wasn't dirty. Some of them were because when you hit all the time, you're going to clip a guy once in a while. You're going to hit a guy from behind once in a while. That happens. A couple guys got dinged, got suspended for it. Maybe a penalty here and there, but you kill those off, man. Like that you just saw game by game, us wearing that freaking team down. That veteran team that's big and kind of tough too. Like, they play that style. Pete DeBoer coached me in Jersey. He loves that kind of stuff, that fast pace. But they could not handle us. They couldn't do it. Even with that hand pass, it didn't matter. They can give them that game. Who cares? We came out and really physically took it to them. And it was not only fun to watch, but you're like, oh, my God. Again, you look back and you're like, Craig Ruby. The guy's a man. Just simple truth.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it was cool to see because like the Blues had that rough and tough kind of style with the physicality all the way through their depth, and I think the Bruins kind of drilled that home in their players as well. So like just physicality as a whole was on display in hockey. In the Stanley Cup final in a league that was so skill-based and speed-based, especially with like guys coming up like Cole Caulfield, who's so small, but he scored, I forget, like 70-something goals in juniors. Like it's starting to develop to a different league, but it was nice to see that almost old style kind of hockey on display on the biggest stage. Dude, so that was cool.
100%. So everybody us old school guys, and I know you guys kind of are too. You like the old school. I do miss the fights. I do. Do I miss the square off? Let's go like I used to do, buckets off, whatever. Like no. I like the fights that were just like in front of the net. You push me, you're in the moment fights. Okay, like I'm mad, right. You're mad. Let's go. That's still going to be around. It's not all the time, but then it's like those fights are better anyway because they're just like they're emotional fights, not just like I got to go out there and do my job.
Yeah.
But what's great about what happened in the playoffs is you still got the old school style hockey back. They let the hitting go, man. They didn't call any hits, penalties on hits, unless you clip a guy and they spin, meaning you clip a guy and you kind of hit their head a little bit and they spin around. They're going to be dinged for that. Fine. Get that out of the game. We don't want that. Barbie did that against San Jose. He got suspended. So what? We'll deal with it. He didn't mean to do it, but you got to get that out of the game. And if you hit from behind, they're going to call that. If you see numbers like Sonny did, Oscar Sundqvist, remember he had that penalty where he went and he forward-checked against the Bruins?
On the board,
causing that suspension.
And people were complaining, like, that's not – no, man, he saw the numbers the whole way. You have to be able to let up a little bit. I don't care. Like, so what? I don't blame Sonny for that. He was in the moment, so what? But that's still a penalty. But everything else, even the Torrey Krug hit when he rocked and Rob Thomas. Yeah. I like that hit. Sorry.
That was out. Yeah, it's so exciting to watch.
Yeah. Remember that? He got David Prime was like straight up molesting him.
Yeah.
Yes.
And Krug gets up and he was going right after Perry to slash him. Perry gets off the ice and Krug still had momentum. He's like, oh, I see a hit developing. Boom. I like that hit.
Lost his bucket too, and with the hair flowing. God, that was beautiful.
Oh, yeah, that's iconic.
Awesome.
That's iconic.
Awesome. You keep that in the game. He didn't target his head. Maybe a charge. I don't care. Keep that hit in the game.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
100% agree.
And I guess one to kind of you were mentioning earlier, a lot of players were taking flack. One player that was along the crosshairs a lot was Alex Pietrangelo, the captain, and I know you were at least on the same team as him early in his career, and he kind of had a slow start. What at least in your eyes, him at the beginning of his career versus now, like developing into a leader? I guess can you speak to that at all, and what he was able to do kind of behind the scenes for this team as the captain and as the leader?
Well, he leads on the ice. He's a quiet guy. He leads on the ice. I remember when I first saw him, I'm in the locker room with Danny Heino. Remember Dan Heino? Oh,
yeah.
God.
Wow.
He was one of my best buddies on the team. Just freaking awesome in every way possible. Was dating Jenny McCarthy's sister, like just a cool cat.
Oh,
like,
shit.
Oh, yeah. And she was good looking too. Just, I don't think they're dating. I think they, whatever. But awesome guy. I remember sitting there, and we kind of ruled the one corner of the locker room. And he walks in, he drops his bag, and we look at each other like, just like the scene off of Shawshank Redemption, when they're all looking at the guys. He's sitting there like, look at this tall drink of water. I'm like, oh my! He was so skinny. He looked like a child, and we're like, what the hell? And he goes out there, he's just smooth as all hell. He spins off you in the corner. He makes backhand soft breakout passes like nobody's business, and he just turned into a man. And he had a rough start this year, though. Remember how bad? Everybody was bad.
Yeah.
But the reason for that, was because we just didn't have the structure that we needed, and that's a little bit of blame on Mike Yo. Great guy, like him. It just didn't work. Didn't have the guys' attention. They did. He did not have the guys' attention, and you could tell with the structure on the ice. So that's one. B, you get no goaltending. You don't get the saves, that momentum save.
Right.
So everything looks scrambly. So the D so when your goalie's not doing what he's supposed to do and covering up rebounds and doing this and doing that, it makes everybody look worse. And all of a sudden, the one save that you're going to go out and maybe have that momentum save, well, those went in. And then everybody's like, oh, and then you're down. So just a combination of a lot of negative things throughout the beginning of the year. And then all of a sudden, Craig came in. All of a sudden, of course, Jordan Binnington came in. And it's hard to evaluate your team when you don't have goaltending. Think about that.
Right.
When you let goals in here and there, like, how do we fix that? You can't. There's no structure that's going to fix that because he needs to fix himself, meaning Jake Allen. But we did. But that was very, very noticeable at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, I feel like Jake, really, especially with that second part of the season, like when he saw his work lead decrease, he bounced back a lot too. But I definitely agree with you. Like some of those desperation saves, like you can't expect your goalie to make like absurd saves like all the time. But I think, I don't know, it's like when Jake would make those kind of saves, it's almost like the defense didn't expect it and they weren't like ready for it. And then like the defense felt like they had to work twice as hard because they couldn't necessarily lean on their goaltender. And I feel like they're more comfortable doing that with Binnington, even though sometimes it feels like they lean on him too much.
Well, and another thing too is Jay Bouwmeester was not he was not ready to play. I mean, you could tell he couldn't turn his hips. So the movement I watch every second of every single game, maybe twice. Every single game all year. And I'm watching J-Bo at the beginning of the year. And when he opens his hips up, when a guy's going behind him or he's got to open up to go get the puck, it took him 3 different steps to do that. Okay, so he had to like turn, then open, and do, instead of just smooth,
stiff.
Open your hips 10 and 2, go with all in one stride. And I'm like, whoa, he can't cross over, he can't do anything. And that was directly correlated to his hip problem. And then, halfway through the season, whenever he started playing well, that movement was there again. And not to mention, they didn't sit him out or anything like that. They kept throwing him out there. I mean, God, it was so bad. It was hard to watch at times because then when you're that bad things happen. You don't get puck luck. The puck bounces in weird directions. Yeah. And he starts scoring on his own net all the damn time.
Yeah.
He was at rock bottom and then turned everything around.
I mean,
he's a really good guy, by the way.
Him and Parayko, their pairing was the shutdown pairing throughout the entire playoffs, and lesser so him, I guess. But if you look at the stat from Game 7, Pietrangelo and Parayko combined were on the ice for 53 of the 60 minutes or something stupid like that. So when you have defensemen that have that shutdown ability, and Bouwmeester being one of them, and you are able to put one of those guys on the ice for 95% of the game, it's going to be real tough for teams to score on you.
Yeah, good luck going against, even Gunny and Petro. So they're out there for 25 minutes. And then you got Bo and Parayko. I mean, and then, then you got Bertuzzo out there. He could play. Like, our D were so good by the end of the second half. I mean, so good. So difficult to get around. Big, mobile, smart, veteran, been in playoffs. Like, they were very, very difficult to deal with. And that's why Joel Edmondson's in a weird spot right now I don't know if he's even going to get a contract. I just don't know. And he was a top pairing for a long time there. So it just shows how deep we are on the back end. Not to mention, too, one of these kids in the minors needs to, take the next step here soon. Like, you can only boil these guys down. The minors for so long. First-round picks here and there. They just made a trade with Jordan Schmaltz, who will be on a one-way deal this year. And he knows he's just not going to make the team, so they got this other kid who's on a 2-way from Toronto. It just shows how deep we are on the back end. And, of course, things can go bad. You can get injured and things like that. But, man, oh, man, they figured it out. But, again, it goes back to structure and goaltending. And then we got Jordan Binnington, who just did his thing.
Yeah, I mean, to kind of reference that stat, Game 7, Colton Parayko had 27 minutes of ice time. Alex Pietrangelo had 26. So assuming that there's not a whole lot of crossover there, that's 7 minutes of game time without one of the two on the ice. And those were two of the best defensemen in the playoffs. A lot of people say Colton Parayko was the best defenseman in the playoffs. And when you have the ability to kind of have two of those elite shutdown guys on the ice for 53 of the 60 minutes, it's something special that a whole lot of teams can't have, and it's crazy when you
Not to mention, too, by the way, sorry to cut you off there. So
no worries.
Not to mention, think about the big shutdown defensemen in the league. Drew Doughty, guys like that. They're making a ton of coin. Colton Parayko's making $5.5 million.
Yeah.
That's my God.
Colton Parayko plus Alex Pietrangelo equals one Drew Doughty salary. So I'm pretty sure that's accurate because I think Petro makes 6.5 and Parayko makes 5.5 and Doughty makes 11 or whatever.
Jesus Christ, dude.
Now,
right?
Petro's going to make 9 coming up here, so no.
Yeah.
Still, maybe even 10. I don't know, maybe 9.5. I don't know if I'd throw 10 at him. What is he, 29, 30 right now?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah,
it's going to be a tough.
tricky.
They have a difficult decision with our captain coming up this year. But, at this point, you don't want to pay a lot of people when they're going down, when they're declining, either. Just because you just don't want to do that. So I'm glad we won because we have a ton of people on great set. Look, I mean, Vladdy's only making
7.5. Yeah.
Ryan O'Reilly 7.5.
Yeah.
Think about that though. Think about Ryan O'Reilly 7.5. Who did Philly just sign? Hayes.
Kevin Hayes.
Kevin Hayes 7.2 million.
Who the hell is that? You're making as much as Ryan O'Reilly, by the way, is the absolute coolest, and I'm not even talking hockey wise. We all know what he does on it. He's just the best hockey player. He, as a person, he is the coolest cat you'll ever meet. I hung out with him all weekend last week. He is the fucking party. Sorry, can I cuss? Sorry about that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah,
you
you can.
We can let him fire.
He is the fucking coolest cat in the world. Absolute, down to earth, fucking awesome. I played with his older brother, Cal O'Reilly, in Windsor, for a half a year before I got traded to Guelph, and nicest kid in the world. And poor kid, I think I tortured him a little bit. Not hazing or any of that shit, but I took him out. No one hazed. I don't know why. I know Sarnia Sting had a weird thing going on. Carcillo talks about it all the time, and I get that, but I never fucking got hazed ever with anything. You know what they told me to do? Go talk to those girls. Okay, I can do that. Yeah, I'll go do that. But as far as shaving it, fucking none of that shit. So just so we're clear on that. But
yeah, they're just trying to get your dick wet a little bit. That's all.
I could do that myself. You don't have to fucking. But yeah,
you have to tell me twice. Oh man.
I would have stuck up for myself if they would have done weird shit, but I never saw that stuff, and I've been in a lot of locker rooms. But Ron O'Reilly, the absolute coolest dude in the world, and probably one of the best hockey players in the world too.
Yeah, I mean, it was inspiring to see. I mean, you saw his comments in Buffalo last year, lost his love for the game, and then, we traded for him, and I mean, I was excited, I was hopeful, but I don't think anybody expected just how good he was. I mean, he won the Selke and won the Conn Smythe. I think that this one thing that Blues fans have been asking for years and years and years is a true number one franchise center, and we found it. And look what happened. First year we got one, we brought a cup to St. Louis. So
yeah.
I mean,
yeah, he's a worker,
special.
dude, and it's contagious. He's not a star that's walks in what's up? I'm the man. No. He just does his shit. Goes on. He's the first one on the ice, last one off, helps people out. He's just a fucking man, dude, and we're lucky.
Yeah. My girlfriend Britt talks about him all the time and how she's his biggest fan and stuff, and kind of like you were talking about.
Away from her. If he wheels your girl, it's let him have it.
yeah.
Yeah, honestly, dude, yeah, but no, she's talking about that all the time, and not like you were kind of talking about, not even just him as a hockey player, even though he's an incredible hockey player, just him as a person and being down to earth and stuff like that. He just seems like almost like a model citizen. Like he literally just like does everything right. He's like the greatest guy and like.
But not a nerd. But not.
Yeah,
a nerd.
yeah, not a nerd. Like a guy, like a model citizen you want to hang out with and like get drunk off your ass with.
How about that story of him?
Too.
Yeah, how about that story of him in Boston during the Stanley Cup final, let alone just wandering around downtown, goes into a guitar store, sees this kid playing, and then, hey, what's up, gets the conversation going and buys him this thousands of dollars worth of guitar. And didn't even know the kid.
That was legit?
He did.
Okay.
That's
cool.
100% legit, yep.
Can you imagine you're just sitting at a guitar shop and Ryan O'Reilly walks in? Just this
in the heat of the Stanley Cup finals and your game, it was like game 5 or 7 or something like that.
And like, I mean, some places like, because he doesn't play for the team in Boston, so like some places like they probably wouldn't know like who he is or he'd be like incognito. But like Boston probably knows. Like Boston's a pretty good hockey town, so this dude.
All you gotta do is look, go to Siri, Ryan O'Reilly, and then you look him up. This guy's legit. And he's playing the guitar.
Well, all he's gonna do is smile, and you see those missing teeth, and you're like, all right, I got an idea of what he's up to.
Either he's a hillbilly or he's a hockey player.
Yeah.
And he's wearing Hugo Boss, so he's not a hillbilly. So there you go.
God. All right. I guess to transition to another more Cam Janssen related question. So you played for a while, obviously. Who's that one guy that you line up to a faceoff dot? You look up, you see him, you're like, oh shit. Like either whether it be like skill player or a player that you're like, oh god, I'm gonna be hurting after this shit.
Not even like oh shit. Just like the guy you look up, line up against, and be like, fuck this dude. Like 100%. Like the guy you hated the most in the NHL.
Well, there's 3 different ones there. Okay, so if I'm caught on the ice in 2008 against the Detroit Red Wings and Datsuk's lines on the ice, I'm like,
God.
I'm going to fucking zone for 2.5 minutes, and I'm probably not going to play another shift the rest of the game. So that's one thing. Number 2, in 2008-9, I see, and we're playing Minnesota Wild, and I see fucking big boy 24 over there, God rest his soul, Derek Bugard. He's scared. He's fucking scared. He's the one guy, and I'm like, God. I'm like, damn it, I can't do anything against him. He's so big. He'll knock you out in many ways. He scared the shit out of me. And the one, I guess, a guy that I didn't like was Sean Avery, man. He was a prick. He was a prick.
Not many guys.
He still kind of is a prick. I follow him on Instagram when he pops off.
Oh, he just yells at homeless people.
Yeah, exactly.
He'll just bike up to some random person and just be like, "Hey, fuck you," and just like start yelling at him.
And it's more of like they're in a bike lane and he'll chirp. And that's just the way he is. I think you think he's okay off the ice, but he just, he's all the time. And everybody's personality, really. The hockey world's pretty small, so you just know if he's a good dude or not. But he's the one guy I just couldn't. I didn't know where I was with him. You know what I mean? Yeah, I never played with him or anything like that. But I just, over time, you get to say, "What's up, buddy?" Like one of those, like we'll fight, but what's going on? Just none of that. Never, none of that. Always chirping, weird chirps, nasty chirps. But he's a weirdo. Although he's probably pretty cool now.
Ooh, yeah. I guess going off that, chirps. What's like the one chirp that cracked you up and you don't want to admit it? Like some because like I know every once in a while you'll get one that makes you laugh and you kind of have to just tip your cap, just be like, all right, fair play. You got any of those?
Yeah. I mean, anytime you bumble fuck the puck when you skate by their bench, the guys are going to be all over you, and I just like, nice hands, feet, or whatever that is. It's funny. But anytime when I play with BJ Crombeen, he's my roommate, great guy, smart kid, cool, tough. He had a monster nose on him, right? And like you go outside, and their bench would be like, oh, offsides by a nose, he's all just shit like that's hilarious. But there's some, Steve Ott was pretty funny too. He'd bash guys, and but when you get personal, you try not to do that, the personal stuff. Right. Andy Murray he was a coach, and I'll tell you one that pissed me off with Avery. Yeah, we're Andy was our coach, and he kind of like shook a little bit, I guess. He had something going on where he kind of shook, doing his stuff. And Avery came by and he started doing shaking and chirping Andy. I'm like, okay, okay. Like that drove me crazy. Don't do that, because who knows what that is, and it might. It's just too much. It's just a little too much. But other than that, everybody's fair game. Chirp, who cares? Guys would always chirp me about not having a neck. And I'm like, I don't have a neck because my fucking shoulders are jacked.
Yeah, exactly. Your fucking traps are ginormous. Like,
you chirp me. They thought I was on steroids. I'm like, we get fucking tested 3 times a year. Yeah. Like, what do you think I'm doing? Sorry, I'm jacked.
Sorry, I'm jacked. Oh, that's a good catchphrase.
So kind of going off of physicality and enforcers and stuff we've been talking about. I don't know if you've how big of a WWE fan you are, but they do this thing called the Royal Rumble, just 30 men in the ring, free for all, last man standing kind of thing. If you had to do a Royal Rumble with 30 of the baddest guys in the league of all time, who do you think would be the one guy that would come out last man standing?
That's a good question. There's so many guys that played in the minors that just got a sniff up in the NHL that were so freaking tough, but they just couldn't make. Look, you can be as tough as you want. If you can't skate and keep up with the play, you're not going to. The game changed in 2004. It opened up a lot more, and you need to be able to skate. The guy that would. The scariest guy, damn dude, that's a good. Proby would be up there. Mm-hmm. Dave Brown would be up there. I'd say Steve McIntyre and Derek Bugard would, but the number one guy that would beat up anybody in his prime, in my opinion, he's a good friend of mine. Played for the Blues. Who do you think it is?
I'd say
Ryan Reeves.
Get out of
Revo?
here, guy. Hell no. Hell no. Get out of here.
Billy Chase, maybe?
No, yeah, because Tony Twist.
That's what I thought.
Okay.
Twister was 270 pounds. He'd beat up anybody. Anybody. Now, Bugard would give him some trouble, but he'd shake Bugard around. That's how strong he was.
All right, what place
he was the baddest man on the planet.
What place would you come in, Cam? Where would you get eliminated?
Oh, in the top 30?
Yeah.
Oh, that's tough. Now, I'd give guys good fights, don't get me wrong. But a lot of those guys are real big, and it just would be tough to beat them, but I could keep up and make it a good fight. You know what I mean? I'll take a punch to make it a good fight. I'm not just going to eat one and be like, oh, I threw him down, I won. No. I'll stand in there for 3 minutes with you. But some of those guys are really, really tall. We're just tough to handle.
Got that long reach and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, Twister would be tough to fight, man. He'd shake you around too much. He was 270 when he played,
That is insane. Absolutely insane.
Because I never watched it. He was kind of before my time. I was born in '96, but just watching highlight videos of him, it looked like the more you punched him in the face, the more he got fired up and loved that shit, dude, and just taking haymakers to the face just made him want to punch you in the face even more.
Well, you got to be able to eat one, man.
Yeah, exactly.
No, sometimes I would eat. I would have to take 5, 6, 10 punches before I even got my rhythm going. But you got to know how to do it. You don't take them right in the jaw. You don't take them in the nose. You don't take them square in the face. You just let them. Get them on the forehead. Get them on the back of the head. Get them there. Get them. You just gotta. You gotta be able to. Duck whenever you need to, and string guys out when you need to. So, it's when you're 5'11", you're fighting guys 6'6". You have to have a style. You have to have a game plan going into it, or else you're going to get buckled.
Yeah, I mean, and I know, obviously in the NHL you see it less, but if you look at some of the fighting compilations or fighting videos from juniors and just those middle of nowhere Canadian leagues, some of that stuff is crazy. Just how much they, the lack of regard for human life in those fights. It's nuts.
I know, and I'm glad my head's okay when I retired, man.
No kidding, honestly.
I got lucky, and I retired over at Nottingham, and I hoisted a trophy to my last ever game, and I don't miss it. I mean, I do and I don't. Because I'm in the hockey world so much in this town. So it's just like I get my hockey fix. I got a group of guys together. We all skate, ex-pros, and all the young kids that come back in the summertime want to skate with me and stuff like that. So it's I get my fix that way. I'm on the radio every day. I'm on TV. So I'm still in the spotlight, which, sometimes you crave that whenever you leave. But do I miss fighting guys? I'm done with it. I'm good.
You got your fixin'. Yeah, I mean, yeah, look at that. You won, let's see. Oh, congrats, Cam. 2002, you won the OHL Most Penalized Player Award. Congratulations.
Lovely.
Cam, you mentioned raising a trophy in your last season. What would you say is your favorite moment of your entire career?
Oh.
Getting traded to the Blues.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's playing in your hometown. I was the first one ever, first.
How did that go down?
I was
getting the news and the whole 9 yards.
I was just injured, and Lou Lamoriello came down to me and goes, I need to talk to you. So I went up to the office. I just couldn't crack the lineup again because they traded for Aaron Asham because I was injured all year. I ripped my shoulder out at the beginning of the year, and I was just going through a tough time. Like, what the hell's going on? And they just didn't have room for me. And John Davison was with the Blues, and they're like, we like this St. Louis kid that skates with us in the summertime. I used to skate with the Blues in the summertime. They're like, let's get him. They knew Bryce Salvador was going to sign somewhere else, go down to restricted free agency. And so they traded me for Bryce Salvador straight up. And it was just the coolest thing in the world coming home and playing in front of your hometown. Man, oh, man.
That's awesome.
Yeah, that's, again, when we go back to Pat Maroon, that's the childhood dream is you wear that jersey of your hometown. And I again, obviously, it's something you dream about your entire life. And I can't even imagine just getting that call from your agent or that conversation from your general manager that, hey, guess what, that dream that you always talked about, well, you get to live it. And I'm not surprised that would be your favorite moment.
Absolutely. It set me up for after hockey too, man. Big time.
Right.
Yeah. I guess we could kind of transition to that. I think the Blues, St. Louis is second in NHL as far as alumni representation in the city, behind like Philadelphia. What's that like? I mean, I know because you're a part of that. It's crazy just the names that you see still living in St. Louis. Like the Kachucks are obviously a huge part of it.
Well, I think it's because a lot of people want to retire here because it's a nice city. The fans love you. It's a sports town. It's relatively cheap compared to a lot of other places. A lot of people live in Canada that probably want to live in the United States. And their kids play hockey here, and they got a great youth hockey, we get the best rink in the world being built right now for youth hockey, 4-sheet rink. And so all these guys, they're coaching their kids, and they just want to stay here. A lot of people meet their girls here, their wives and stuff. That goes down, so they get comfortable here. A lot of these guys are from small-town Canadian towns. They're like, okay, let's just live in St. Louis. We're living in the U.S. We always go back to our farm, whatever you want to do, and this is just an easy spot to live. So I think that it all just kind of, and not to mention the Blues take care of you too. So you have a lot of people around, you hang out with each other, you do events, charity stuff, go to games together. It's a blast.
Yeah, I think Gretzky married a girl from St. Louis, didn't he?
Yep.
Is she from St. Louis or from LA?
There's something along the lines. There's along the lines that I think they met here is what happened.
Maybe they met here. I think she's an actress, man. Wasn't she an actress? I don't know. But yeah, Gretz is here all the time too, man.
Yeah. Gotta be around the great one too.
We just spoke a lot about St. Louis and alumni here. Going back to your playing days, what was your 3 favorite cities to visit on road trips? Anywhere, in OHL, NHL, anything.
Well, I mean, the NHL is going to outbeat the OHL. Let's see.
Right.
Saginaw or Boston? No. I'd say Chicago's awesome because you're staying right downtown. Awesome stuff to do. The fans are crazy. The rivalry with St. Louis is just fun. That's got to be one. And not to mention the national anthem. Oh my God, it gets you so pumped up. I mean, so pumped up when they're screaming during that. I love it. Madison Square Garden's another one big. I mean, dude.
Yeah.
You're playing in the mecca of everything.
Yep. Yeah, exactly.
The world. That city runs the world. Okay, and it's right in the middle of it. It's going underneath that tunnel with a police escort. So you're coming from Jersey and you have a police escort. You go underneath the Holland Tunnel, and all of a sudden, boom, you're in a different world. Like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Or 12 sometimes. So that would be really cool. But I'd like to make a ton of money if I played for the Rangers because it's so damn expensive.
Yeah.
And then probably third, Montreal's awesome too, man. Any of those Canadian towns are fun. Toronto's always cool. Montreal's fun. Yeah, I'd say that's probably my top three.
I was,
original 16s.
When I was, I want to say when I was 8 years old, I was like, when first got into hockey, my grandfather was like, hey, we're going up to Montreal for the weekend. Do you want to come? And I'm like, sure. I'm 8. I don't know. I don't understand what Montreal is or what that means. But little did I know, we're going to a Canadiens Flyers playoff game in 2008 must have been. So right when like that was a rivalry, and I am just so pissed at myself that I was too young to remember that, because in the Bell Center, Canadiens Flyers playoffs, like I
How did you get those tickets? Jeez Louise.
I have no idea. Like I said, I was 8. I remember none of it. I wrote some
probably some prostitution involved.
Yeah, I wrote some
probably sold his body.
I wrote some paper about it. In elementary school. I'm sure it's terrible, but maybe I'll find it and remember. But I just can't even imagine it's like a playoff environment like that, and some little 8-year-old me, like his first hockey experience. Oh, I just
that's they got a 3-year thing. They got a 3-year wait for season tickets there. I mean, they're just
jeez,
can't even get a ticket. I don't know how. They must have snuck you in or something. Who knows?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, my grandfather's a huge Canadiens fan for whatever reason. He's not even from there, but whatever. And I guess I don't know. I don't know how it happened. Again, like I didn't understand how big of a deal it was like at the time, but just like looking back on it now, it just hits me like how much that city loves its team. It's crazy.
It's hard to play though, man. They'll rip you apart if you're not doing it.
Oh yeah, big time.
Big time, dude. Big time, guys.
Cam, I just got back from Minnesota last week, and we were all like, I just up there with some like family friends and stuff. But I never realized how many like lakes and stuff were up there. But anyways, we were like,
bro.
Yeah, it was just crazy.
10,000 maybe.
But
that's what it is.
yeah, we're like boozing on the lake and stuff, and like someone pointed out like I think Brady Shea's boat was nearby there or something, just like. But yeah, just drinking White Claws and getting sloshed and then heading home and passing out. But so the point of the story is, I'm sure like back in your days, hockey guys are just like big partiers in general. What's the craziest drinking story you have, and how does it match up to like the drinking stories you have now after celebrating with like the guys winning the Stanley Cup and stuff?
Well, that was a different animal. When you win, you're just boozing all the time. You're doing events all the time. You're it's just there. I can't sue anybody. Let's see. We got after it, man. I mean, we did. Saturday night play the Blackhawks. You're going out. Saturday night, Friday night, you're going out. I mean, in this town, you're going everywhere. I lived 2 different lives when I was here. I had my buddies and I had my teammates. And I'd always intermix to both of them. And everybody wanted, Cam, where are you going? Well, I'm going here. I knew the town. I knew everybody. But we had a blast, man. We didn't get in any trouble, thank God. A couple times it was a little hectic here and there. I never got into a fight anywhere. No one did. Okay, one time I guess I was with my financial guy, my agent, and my girl at the time, and a bunch of buddies. And we went to one of our places, and I'm sitting in my Hugo, my nice suit, your nice suits. For Saturday night, I'm got my A suit out, This guy comes over, he's just wasted. He's like, come and talk to me. I'm like, yeah, cool, man. I'm always nice to everybody. Even if they're annoying, I'll be nice to you. So you really piss me off, and I got to get somebody to get you out of it. The guy, I guess I wasn't giving him enough attention. I don't know what he wanted from me, but he just takes his beer and his dumps it all over me.
My God.
Not that big of a deal, but
wow.
In front of a whole bar, this classy-ass bar. Everybody knows where I'm at. I'm sitting in the corner over there. Everybody can see him. This guy just does that, and everybody's like, oh, boy, what's he going to do?
Mm-hmm.
And I looked at the bouncer. I go, come here, get him out, and go ahead and kick him when he's down, please. Thank you. And then so they took him out. So you have to have discipline.
Right.
I know that's not a crazy story, but I'm trying to. You guys kind of put me on the spot with that. That's a loaded question, man.
Sorry.
But again, I'll just say this. You played it cool. You don't. You surround yourself with cool cats. You don't surround yourself with people that take care of you, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Not like, let's do it. No. You still got to get me home, buddy. Right. You just have to surround yourself with the right people. And, there's always going to be people that don't like you. but I try to make sure everybody tries. I'm nice to everybody, unless you're just a jackass. And it's like, get the fuck out of my face.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have anything to prove.
Especially being in the
my toughness.
Yeah, especially being in the public eye like that. Like, it's kind of the same thing as like social media. Like, you kind of have to like filter everything to like, because like if you like probably like weren't like a professional hockey player, like I'd want to beat that guy's ass, but like it's a different standard, I guess.
Here's another little thing too. Here, okay. I'll tell you this. Like even when you're playing in hometown, and you sometimes you think your shit doesn't stink. Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
You got a big hat. You're popular. Everybody wants a piece of you. I remember I was taking a couple girls out with a couple of my buddies, right? And I had a table at this club, and I know the owner at the club. I know the event that was going on there. I had a table there with bottles. I spent a ton of money. Got people coming in, and there's a line out the wazoo. And I usually just walk around so I walk up, I go to the bouncer. I go, Cam Janssen, how you doing? Everybody's talking to me in the line. Like, what's up, guys? He goes, you're on the list. I go, I got it's still like 2 G's. Like there's bottles. I got my table right there.
Yeah.
There's nope. Don't even know who you are, do you? And everybody's waiting for me to be like, you know who I am? And I go, okay, all good. And I walked away, and I went to another place. And the people I was with, the girls I was with, were like, oh my God, that was the coolest thing in the world.
Wow.
Like, you didn't act like an asshole. You didn't act like a jackass. And that guy probably got fired because they're like, where's Cam? I didn't let him in. So just little things like that, man. Like, you just that. And I know, again, that's not a big story or a big deal, but at the time, it kind of was. Like, that could have been, give me in. You just okay, all good. I'll go somewhere else. No big deal. See ya.
Yeah.
Little things like that add up, man. Trust me.
Yeah.
Well, I know you said you got to get going, Cam, but we really appreciate you taking the time to come on and talk hockey with us. Means the world to us, and thanks again for doing it.
Hey, anytime, guys, man. I like doing this kind of stuff, and I know you guys work your ass. I follow you guys all on Twitter too, and you guys are doing good stuff on there. Anytime, man. Anytime.